Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the episode out of all the episodes. To me, this is the most important. This is the one I've been shouting from the rooftops over for years. This is why you never put Ayrton Senna, the greatest racing driver of all time, in the same sentence as Lewis Hamilton. This is the episode where it shows the difference between Ayrton Senna, the greatest of all time, versus Hamilton, who's not even in the top 100 of all time, and I'm about to tell you why.
Walsh running the Irish green, and look at the move he's making down to the inside.
Moves to the front from fifth all the way to the lead in lap one.
Walsh takes win number 2.
Peter Walsh. All right, ladies and gents, welcome back. Season 2, Episode 4. This episode, really for me, if you had to explain it in one sentence, is never believe the hype. And we're going to get right into it of Lewis Hamilton. A lot of people assume or think Hamilton is one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. And that's okay, because some people have only started to watch Formula 1 since Drive to Survive. So it's hard to know for a lot of people, right? It would be like me watching tennis. You know, some people say Roger Federer, Djokovic, Nadal, they're the best of all time. Okay, I'll take your word for it. Now, it does look like it is, but you know what I mean. In other words, what the fuck would Peter know? He's not a tennis player, never has been, never will be. So what the fuck would Peter know? Of course not. I can make my own assumption, doesn't mean I'm right. But I would definitely listen to a tennis player. Now, here we go with this one, though. We're going to start now as normal, in sequence, from the get-go, from the right at the start of the episode all the way through. But we're definitely going to see here, even Toto Wolff jumps in here and backhandedly gives Lewis Hamilton a jab here. So we'll get into that now in a second. Okay, so at the start of the episode, guys and girls, we see the intro with Toto Wolff, the Mercedes boss. So he's having a team discussion, if you want to call it that, or he's making an announcement to the team, and you can see he's focused, he's aggressive. Now, a lot of people didn't know about this about Toto Wolff. Toto Wolff was a finance guy. He's a business guy. Still is a business guy. Very, very awesome business guy. This guy is just, honestly, he's awesome. And he's ruthless, aggressive. He's very, very good to his team at the same time. He doesn't humiliate people. He treats people with respect. He knows to get the best out of people. But the thing is, Niki Lauda, you see that Niki Lauda, before Toto Wolff, now we'll get into Niki Lauda a little bit more in just a few moments, but Niki Lauda was the main guy for Mercedes. He was around when Schumacher was around, before Hamilton. Then they bring in Hamilton. Schumacher's retiring. Hamilton comes in. Lauda's there. Lauda then brings in Toto Wolff into the team. Now, the thing with Toto Wolff, like we're saying, he's a finance guy. He even says at one moment, where does he say it now? Let me just get my notes here. He says he can't drive a car. He can't even design the car. He has no idea. But he wants to have an understanding, and he does his very best to understand. But he can provide the framework to the team. So what this tells me is that Niki Lauda, obviously a guy who used to race, and we'll get into him now in a second, and Michael Schumacher, etc., they had the racing experience. They got the team to a place where Toto Wolff was able to come in and just use his method of business and getting the job done and just finish the job off. But the point is this, the real backbone of their success was Niki Lauda and Michael Schumacher before Hamilton ever came along, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm sure if any of you guys work in, I don't know, a business where you need to develop a new software, a new hardware, it takes time, right? You've got the guys in the background, they're making it, they're creating it, they're inventing your new product or service or software, whatever it is. And then a couple of years down the line, you've made a couple of improvements, and then and then all of a sudden then, right at the end when it's just about to perfection, you can bring in someone else, use their idea, because the job is done already. So the job was done already before Toto Wolff did come along. So, but the point is this. He came from finance, Toto Wolff. Niki Lauda brought him into the team. And like I'm saying, I'm not putting dirt on Toto Wolff here. I think Toto Wolff is an amazing team boss. He doesn't have the racing background, which does affect him here now in 2024 and 2023, guys. I honestly do think that's affecting the team here because he doesn't have the experience. And how could he? You know, it's not his fault. It is no way near his fault. He needs to fucking learn, and you need to have the background here too. So, anyway, let's get to it. Next, coming up, we then see Niki Lauda, and if many people don't know about Niki Lauda, he is one of the greatest racing drivers of all time. He won 3 world championships. He was one of the best ever at setting up a car. He was one of the best qualifiers, racers ever. More of a qualifier than a racer, but still an unbelievable pilot all around because he was consistent in all areas of racing. There's no point of being good at qualifying and then you're a lousy racer, or there's no point of being a lousy qualifier but a great racer. No point in that. You need the whole package. Lauda was the whole package. And of course then we see on the screen here, if you didn't know this, guys, you see Niki Lauda has a big crash in his Ferrari. The car goes up in flames. He actually nearly dies. And Toto Wolff even said that he had a near-death accident. And it really was. I think, as far as I remember, and you should YouTube this guy, the Niki Lauda crash. You know, I wouldn't say for entertainment-wise, but if you really want to see the balls, the warrior in this Niki Lauda guy, you should do so. Because I think that there's a documentary on it, and they do go into a little bit more detail, where I think was it a racing driver came over, just for the last few moments, if it held out, if he was stuck in that car for at least another minute, he would have been dead. He got out just at the right time. Now, you might have seen his face is burnt. You can see he's got scars on his face. And that was from that crash that you see on Netflix. Or if you do end up YouTubing it, that's what was from that accident. And it's been with him all his life. So, Lauda bringing in Toto Wolff into the team was a fantastic move by Lauda. Because Lauda had the experience from racing. He knows the racing world. He just needed a business guy like Toto Wolff, a competitor, another warrior. He was in finance, but he's still, in his ways, he's a warrior, that man. So the two of them together, brilliant. And then we see that Lauda convinced Hamilton to go to Mercedes. I mean, talk about for a racing driver's wet dream, ladies and gentlemen, where bringing in a racing driver at the exact moment, because, like I was saying, Schumacher and Lauda developed that car. Then Hamilton stepped in at the last moment where it was just almost perfect and all the work was done. Make no mistake about this. Michael Schumacher got that car to where it was for Lewis Hamilton to continue on. I mean, even Schumacher, when he went to Ferrari back in his peak days, Schumacher won 2 world championships in Benetton. He then moves to Ferrari. He doesn't win the championship for the first 3 or maybe 4 years, right? He doesn't win for 3 or 4 years, and this guy's the champion. And it took him to a time where he needed to develop the car with the team, and then he wins it. What did he win it? 5 years in a row. I think it was 5 years in a row. Don't quote me, guys. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired today. But that's the point. It takes time with some of the teams to get to that place where you're winning. And Schumacher did that with Mercedes. Unfortunately, then he did retire. So, but anyway. So then we flash over to Hockenheim in Germany. Great track, by the way. It's an awesome track. And it's the Mercedes 125-year anniversary. Guys, I tell you now, that is an amazing achievement that the Mercedes team around for 125 years. Jesus Christ. But it's obviously a big weekend for them. So now, here we go over to Hamilton, and he's on screen. And he's on about, the work effort and this and that, right? Hamilton says, my parents gave him everything. Right? They gave him everything to succeed. which I understand, of course. And he didn't want to squander it. He didn't want to let them down. Totally understand that too. Of course, Jesus. What good son wouldn't want to do that, right? You know, he's being a good son here. Then we flash over to Lewis is feeling a bit sick. There's a story going around. People are like, "Oh, Lewis is sick? What's going on here?" So they end up saying on camera that there's a virus going around the paddock. Lewis gets it. And then we flash over to the team debrief room. And all of a sudden, you see, I know where this is where I come in here, guys. And I see where racing drivers are dramatic, they're full of shit, or they're telling you the truth. Hamilton's rubbing his throat. Okay? He's squinting a little bit, looking stressed, touching the throat. Then he turns and he says, "Oh man, it's really hot in here." Now there's a room full of mechanics, engineers, developers, Toto Wolff, the whole lot, the whole shebang. It's full house inside this room. Yet, it's very hot in there, but he's got his jacket fully up and zipped up. Huh. It's really hot in here, but he's got his jacket all the way up, zip up fully, and he doesn't even unzip it, or he doesn't take his jacket off. Okay. Why don't we just keep going for a second, shall we? Yeah. So then we get to qualifying. And then, all of a sudden, he puts it on provisional pole, Hamilton. Now, even before he gets in the car, Toto Wolff comes on, "Hey Lewis, are you okay?" As he's watching him get into the car, Hamilton's sort of almost crawling into the car. He can barely get into the car, poor baby. And he's going really slow. Guys, I'm telling you, I didn't get to the fitness level or speed level of these Formula 1 cars. But even if I was feeling as sick as Lewis Hamilton back in my day, and if my engineer or mechanics or even my family members, if they saw me get into a car that slowly, they'd be like, we're pulling the plug here. Fuck this. No. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean Lewis Hamilton's really tough. No. Toto Wolff doesn't know, because he doesn't have the motorsport experience to say, "Oh shit, okay, whoa. I know what this is like driving a car like this. Fuck that. Here, if I got into a Formula Ford car like this, there's no way I'm driving it. Or I'd stop people doing it. No way." So anyway, Hamilton jumps in the car really slowly. But he says he's okay to drive. He's okay to drive. Okay, Lewis. Okay. But then all of a sudden, he jumps in the car and he puts it on provisional pole. Even better, he puts it on pole position. Yeah, that's right. He puts the fucker on pole position. But yet, he can barely get in the car. Huh. Very strange for me. Okay. Then they're all coming on the radio. "Wow, amazing, Lewis. You never cease to amaze us." And in the press conference afterwards, though, coming from the man who was holding onto his throat and it was really hot in the team debriefing area and he wouldn't unzip his jacket, coming from that same guy, in the team press conference after qualifying when he puts it on pole position, he's not touching his throat now. Okay. I'll let you make your own mind up on that one, ladies and gentlemen. I know my fucking mind up on this one. Full of shit. But, okay. So, you can make up your own mind, ladies and gents. So, when we get to the race, the hardest job of a driver is bringing results race after race. Oh, and by the way, I actually just thought here, if you guys think I'm getting bitter or pissed off or something or jealous, well, you're in about 2 minutes time, you're going to know exactly why I'm having this reaction to Lewis Hamilton, and you'll know exactly where I'm coming from. So, Hamilton, hardest job of a driver is bringing results race after race. Well, that's what you're paid for, right? So, yeah, it's going to be hard. Of course it is. And he's saying the truth. but that's your job, buddy. And by the way, he's also paid about 50 million euro, or pounds, whichever it is, to bring these results. So that's not a bad old payday at the same time. Do you know what I mean, ladies and gents? So the race anyway, it's greasy, wet, dry. I mean, it is hard. There's no two ways about it, right? There's no two ways about it. Now, guys, if you've seen my Formula 1 previews and other Drive to Survive previews too, you know I'm a fair guy, right? And there's no bad blood between me and Hamilton. No, not at all. Because even Hamilton next. Hamilton hits the tyre wall because it's slippy, right? Verstappen even has a spin. Who else was there? Oh, loads of them. Loads of them have offs. But, okay, Hamilton, he hits a wet patch. He goes into the tyre wall. He got really lucky. His front wing just comes off. And then he darts past over to the other side of the track and goes straight into the pit lane. Now, he catches the team by surprise. He goes in. The team have to hurry around now, scatter, scramble to get a new front wing for him and replace the tyres. So let's break this down. Hamilton comes in. Honest mistake by Hamilton. Racing drivers make fucking mistakes. No big deal here. Right? No big deal. And do you know what? He handled it quite well, I have to say, because he could have had a big crash there. And he's got some skills. He managed to keep it just off the wall, which was bravo to him. I'll give him that. But then, he's sitting in the fucking pit lane. He just made a mistake. And see, this is where I get pissed off at Lewis Hamilton. Alright? The bitching and fucking moaning from this guy. And he's bullshitting everybody, putting on such an act. But yet, this is the Hamilton here, okay? He goes into the tyre wall, makes a mistake, which, by the way, like I said, no problem. But then he darts back into the pit lane. He catches the team by surprise. That's not the team's fault either. Everybody just made a mistake. The team are scrambling. And then as the team are trying to get the tyres and front wing together, Hamilton's coming on the radio. And this is what annoys me about him. He's fucking blaming the team here now. Here we go again. He's like, hurry up, guys. Come on, let's go. I'm ready to go. Come on. You need to hurry up. And ladies and gents, he's saying this to the team. They're listening to this mid-work. Do you really think it's going to help them when they're scrambling and they're caught by surprise? Maybe this is a strong word. Maybe even overwhelmed. Like, oh shit. Jesus, lads, Christ, get the tires. Front wing. Right? There's a bit of panic going on here because he just went off in the last corner, you see. So it is a rush job, and you need to be like a Formula 1 team. You need to be as quick as you can. They just didn't expect him to go off. So completely caught by surprise, up against the wall, major pressure scenario, and then all you have is your man bitching and fucking moaning to the team. Like, ladies and gents, can you imagine if you're in a pressurized situation, you're in your job, right? I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this, right? You've got a boss now who can be a bit of an asshole or something, okay? Or your wife or your husband, they fuck up, and then all of a sudden there's a deadline and you're like, oh shit, what? I'm sorry, sir, what did you say? You need this done by now? And all of a sudden they're throwing it on your desk. Yeah, come on, John. Let's get it done. Come on, hurry up. Come on, I'm ready. Fuck's sake. Come on, let's go. Yet they fucked up. Can you imagine how pissed off you'd be with this person? You know? And do you think it really gets the job done for you when you've got your boss screaming in your fucking ear and you're trying to fix their mistake? Seriously? Enough said on that, guys. You know, it's just the lack of respect that gets me, galls me with Lewis Hamilton. Galls me. So, okay, let's move on. He drops to 12th with 16 laps to go. Okay, they have a bad pit stop. They're, like I said, caught a surprise. So they're trying to find the front wing, take it out of its cover, get the tires, get them out of the cover, get everything ready at one go. So he loses, I think they said, about a minute in the pit lane. So that, and I think even Will Buxton does jump in. He says, look guys, a minute is a lifetime in a race. And he's right on that. A minute is a fucking lifetime when you're dealing with something like this. Right? I mean, the race is over. As in terms of you're not going to win the race unless you had a astronomical lead. Well, then okay, fair enough. But you're not going to win the race, right? You're going to be, you might finish on the podium. You might, but at least you probably score some points depending on where you are in the grid, right? So Hamilton anyway drops to 12th, 16 laps to go. So now the race isn't over here. Yes, you'd be annoyed, like, fuck, Peter, what the fuck did you do? You hit the fucking tyre wall. It's our 125th year anniversary. I just fucked it all up. Christ, I threw away a win. You'd be annoyed. But you're still in 12th with 16 laps to go. You were in the lead, so you're probably the quickest car on the track. Therefore, you've got a very good chance with 16 laps to go in your mindset, right, listen, do you know what now? I can get up to 10th, maybe 9th, maybe 8th, or even, hey, fuck it, if I've got any luck here, maybe 7th. Right? In other words, you'll be trying to weigh up your odds. Can I bring home a fucking point here? So, Hamilton, and as he has 16 laps to go in 12th, he's got a chance to score some points still. So then we flash over to Hamilton in an interview. He says, I don't think I've ever been a great loser. It's not in my DNA. Well, that's true. Because in about 4 seconds from now, we're about to find out why you're not a good loser. And Hamilton goes spinning again. All right, he has another off. Now, okay, racing drivers make mistakes, but Jesus, what the hell happened this time? What happened this time? So, okay, maybe he was sick the day before, all right? Like, let's give him a little bit of rope here. Maybe he was sick, but he was just trying to dramatize it too. Do you know what I mean? He felt off. So then if he puts on a big show and song dance act, instead of pulling a sickie or bringing in a note from mom and dad, he's just deciding, well, hey, fuck it. I'll just, really dramatize this. So if I don't do well tomorrow, at least, well, they'll say, well, look, lads, did you see him yesterday? He was fucked. Like, yeah. And then they'll just forget about it all until the next race when he gets his energy back up. So, like I said, he could have been sick, but just dramatizing it. Anyway. So he has another spin. And then he comes on the radio, and this is the key moment, ladies and gentlemen. This is the key moment. He comes on to the team radio after his second spin, and he says, retire the car, guys. Let's retire the car. His team come on to the radio and say, negative, Lewis, negative. Keep pushing for a point. Something like that, right? And then we flash over to Toto Wolff in an interview. And here's even Toto Wolff backing this up. He says, you must never give up. A single point can make the difference in the championship. Elvis has left the fucking building. The fat lady has sung, thank you, good night Seattle, I love you. This is what I've been saying from fucking day one. There is no way ever you ever give up on one fucking point. I've been saying that for goddamn years. There's no way most of the drivers I know, whether they were unbelievably good or just average or unbelievably shit in racing, whether it was karting or Formula Ford or whatever it was, most of the drivers I know would never ever in a million years give up on a single point. Because, and especially for this is even worse to give up on this reason, because Hamilton is in the lead of the championship at this moment in Netflix, guys. He's in the lead of the championship, close enough anyway, maybe between first and two, but whatever. He's in contention for the championship, so every fucking point counts here. Every point counts. And I will tell you this, Ayrton Senna would never, ever have done that in a million goddamn years. Alain Prost, Kimi Räikkönen, Mika Häkkinen, Sebastian Vettel. Who else am I talking? Michael Schumacher, Fangio, Jim Stewart, Jim Clark, Jackie Stewart. Not one of those guys would have never, ever have given up. Now, the guys that I've called out, they wouldn't, not all of them would be in the top 10 of all time and all that. No. But they've got the natural fighting racing driver instinct animal in them. And Lewis Hamilton at this stage has been around a lot. Enough experience in his life to know that you don't give up on a fucking point. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring you back to Ayrton Senna, back in Brazil, Interlagos track, when he was in the lead of the race. He got stuck in 5th gear. Now that track has a couple of 2nd and 3rd gear corners. So imagine now, okay, the guy's stuck in 5th gear. He nearly collapses in the car as he's driving. He manages to win the race, which, by the way, is an unbelievable sight of genius that somebody can be stuck in 5th gear and win the race. And he'd all the excuses to give up. His shoulders, if you see this, you'll see that on the Netflix documentary of him, or even YouTube maybe. His shoulders, he couldn't even move when he got out of the car. I have never in my life seen a racing driver like that. Unless they're actually, like, you know, broken legs or broken arms and things like that, right? I've never seen a guy get out of the car, have all his bodily functions okay, but to be that fucked from being okay, if you get me. I've never seen that in my life. He couldn't even get out of the car for about 10 minutes. They had to fucking lift the guy out of the car. And he had all the excuses in the world. Now, of course, yes, it was his home his home track. He wanted to do it for the fans. But he had every reason in the goddamn fucking world. His shoulders clenched up. He couldn't barely fucking move. Stuck in 5th gear. What the hell are you gonna do? He went. And I've seen Senna. He's never ever given up on one fucking point. He'd rather spin off, or as they say, go down swinging, than retire the car. I always do say about Lewis Hamilton, he has an old school approach to racing. Yes, he does. He's a massive admirer of Ayrton Senna. He's his number one, well, not his number one fan, but it's his number one guy. I love that about him. He has tremendous skill. I love that about him. But anybody to turn around and say that he is in the top 3 of all time, or he's the greatest of all time, is delusional. Okay? You don't know racing if you think this. I'm sorry to say. And I'm not trying to be an asshole to anybody. I am not, okay? I'm not. And guys, if you fucking know me, I'm putting my hand up to heaven here. I am not saying that. I am not having a go of anybody. And you know me, guys. I don't have an ego here. I can be very, very fair to even Hamilton. I'm being fair to him actually right now. If you've heard my other episodes, you know I'm very fair, even if I don't like a guy. It is incredibly soul-destroying when you see somebody say retire the car. Do you really think that the greatest driver of all time would decide to just throw in the towel because he had 2 fucking spins? Like, that's it? It's all over? Done? Because even Toto Wolff said here, that's the difference between winning a championship and not. I mean, guys, I remember being in karting and I won a championship by 1 point. I remember that. And I'll never forget that there was other championships that I won by a couple of points or this or that, right? But it still came down to, Jesus, man, do you remember, like, if we thought we picked up a puncture there at that race and we didn't, we wouldn't have won the championship today. Every round counts. Every driver knows this. This would be like people saying that... Okay, sorry, no, I'll go back. I mean, can you imagine if you had Muhammad Ali, the greatest boxer of all time? Hey, maybe I'm wrong. I think he is, but again, I wouldn't be ignorant to say that I'm right. But imagine Muhammad Ali deciding to pack it all in because he got punched in the face twice in the 7th round, right, for a championship fight. Now, guys, nah, fuck it, come on, blow the whistle here. Huh? What do you mean, Muhammad? Nah, fuck it, look, I got punched there twice. Fuck this. You know? Give me a break. Now, I know, it's 1 round, but it's still for the championship. every race that Lewis Hamilton is in that year here that we see is a championship round. Not a round, a championship round. Do you get what I mean? They're all part of one. Every round for him, because he's up for the championship, every round is, you treat it like one fucking round. Do you get me? It's all connected. Everything is connected. Can you imagine if Muhammad Ali decided to pack it all in? Nah, fuck it, lads. Come on. Let's go on the piss. Crazy. Crazy. And then after the race, we see Lewis saying sorry to Toto in the motorhome or team awning, okay? And yet he's back to rubbing his neck. He's back to rubbing his neck. Jesus. Isn't that weird? Isn't that fucking weird? And you know what? And Toto's a bit all over him, which it actually did kind of piss me off. Toto's a bit all over him, you know? Do you know what I'd be saying to him? I would, first of all, what I would be doing is I'd be telling Netflix to fuck off, because I even though you may think I've got a problem with Lewis Hamilton, no, I don't. What my problem with Lewis Hamilton is, he's a great racing driver. It pisses me off when people put him in the same sentence as Ayrton Senna and Michael Schumacher and Fangio and Stewart and all these guys. You're delusional thinking that. You know, it's like, if you're a racing driver and you still think that is, you're delusional. If you don't know racing, that's understandable. All right, so guys, you know, maybe I'm getting hot under the collar. My apologies. But no, he's not. He's not. Okay? And what I'd be doing is pulling Hamilton to the side here. And I would be telling Netflix to fuck off, because I'd be still showing my driver some respect here, right? I'm not going to be giving out to Lewis Hamilton in front of everybody, even though the fucker just gave out to us on the team radio, telling us to hurry up for his mistake. So, but still, you still have some class. You don't do it. You don't resort to Hamilton's level of bitching and moaning. And I would have been pulling him to the side and saying, "Are you kidding me, Mr. Hamilton? You're one of the greatest of all time. Maybe you're about to become the greatest of all time if you beat Michael Schumacher's record, and you wanted to give up? Do you think Ayrton Senna would have given up this? Do you really fucking think you're number one hero of all time?" Like, ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake about it. There's team bosses. We've seen that even in one of the other previous episodes I reviewed there with Haas. Gunther Steiner, the team boss, pulls in the two drivers away from Netflix, and he gives out like shit to the two boys, to Roman Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen. Kills them, right? Because they're still the boss at the end of the day. Again, it just shows you the inexperience, right? And that's not a jab at Toto Wolff. He just doesn't know. Toto Wolff has come into a world from finance, and he's hearing all these wonderful things about Lewis Hamilton, but he just doesn't know the racing world enough to read between the lines, right? So to him, I suppose in one way I can understand that, oh, well, look, we do have the greatest of all time. But still, he did say it on the TV, you don't give up. So you see, that makes me wonder why, you know? So I think there is a bit of lick-assing here. I think they've got caught up in the whole hype about Hamilton. I would have been killing that boy to even, number one, never bitch and moan about us on the team orders again. How dare you? How dare you do that to your team when you made the fuck up and you're telling us to hurry up while we fix your fucking mistake? And why are you giving up, Hamilton? Aren't you one of the greatest of all time? Shame on him, man. Shame on him. So, probably sound like an absolute nut job here, ladies and gentlemen, but that's the way it went. And that's the way racing is. And that's it for the day. And the most important thing out of this episode, don't believe the hype.
Walsh running the Irish crane, and look at the move he's making down to the inside.
Moves to the front with fifth all the way to the lead in lap one.
Walsh takes win number 2.
Peter Walsh.